This is Morten from INKISH. It's getting late here on the first day of Printing United, and Henry and I, we decided to have a sit-down interview, whatever that means.
Whatever that means.
Henry is from a company in California called FSSI. It was something with
Financial Statement Services Incorporated is what that originally stood for.
So originally, does that mean that the meaning of the company has changed with the market, or?
Oh, what it means is we've actually branched out a little bit, right? So while we do mostly financial statements, we do manage direct mail. We have basically a platform we call Splash, which is more on the direct mail side of the house.
Something
right?
that you develop yourself, or?
Sure. In-house. Yep. And we use other tools, right, including Solimar, right? And we enjoy our partners, and one of the reasons why we come to a place like Printing United is just to kind of stay in touch with technology and to make sure we're kind of catching what's new. Pro tip: I like walking the edges of the conference.
Oh yeah, because
right?
that's where the unexpected happens.
Yes,
right?
Small booths. You can find these great little technologies, and I just feel bad, for the guys that are stuck on the edges. I like to see what they're doing, and I always come back from any of the major conferences with just a little bit more knowledge and perhaps some new tools. On
Henry. Actually, before we started filming, and we're waiting for Jack to get ready. Jack, are you ready now? Yeah, he is. Okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah, are you sure? Are you sure? 100%.
Right.
Should we turn our heads fast?
Yes, yeah.
No, cheers again. Salute. You recently became the president of FSSI.
I did. I did after 35 years working there, right?
Do you sometimes, when you have that role, feel a greater responsibility both to your customers, your stakeholders, your employees, and things like that, or?
I've always felt it.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the things. With Jennifer and John, they've started this business, a long time ago.
Still the owners, or?
They are still the owners, right? So they own 51% of it, but we're an ESOP now, which even creates us to a greater responsibility. But for me, it's always been one of those things to where I treat it like I own it anyways. It's always been like that, and with that comes responsibility. And there's nothing greater than working with a team and growing with a team, and just seeing people advance in their careers, and whether it's with you or not, however that works, right? But I think that's what I've enjoyed, and I think that's served me well. Is just when all else fails, do the right thing,
What role did you came from?
I was a chief operating officer before this, but literally I started there 35 years ago as a machine operator.
Okay.
I was a mailing machine
operator. So you
operator.
have like a technical background, basically.
I do. Yeah. I actually a certified Xerox technician.
Really?
That we did self-maintenance, and I learned that along the way, and have just been lucky enough to work with very, very smart people, smarter than me, and just kind of work and learn from that group, and then learn from groups like this.
One of the things that we also spoke about before the cameras turned on was that you are the advisory council for, what is it called? It's called...
It's the Solimar Customer Advisory Council.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I guess that one of the advantages, of course, you have always somebody you can call,
yes.
But you have also peers where you can learn from each other. How is running a business for you? How important is that part of your life?
It's critical, right? You have to be aware of what's going on, and I've always said I don't want to drink my own Kool-Aid. Right, so when you start, kind of drinking your own Kool-Aid and thinking that our stuff is this great, you just stop being great. So you always have to continue that process. And I think being part of the advisory council, and part of other industry groups that we as an organization are part of, I think that just keeps it fresh in your mind, right? And we've had some great relationships we've built out of the advisory council, and out of other, like I said, other groups we're in. Just even now with Marianne working through what she's working through today, and just all these people I'm meeting, and I know them from other groups. So we've had great not only relationships but very beneficial partnerships through that group, to where someone will throw something in the advisory council chat. We keep a WeChat going, and they'll ask who does this, like on the West Coast.
So there's some of that, utilizing a network also for business space, not
Absolutely.
Just personal. Yeah. So FSSI, obviously you came from the statement kind of side of the business. So what kind of technology do you operate, and how big a company are you?
Well, we use inkjet technology on the print side. We have composition software we use.
So what kind of inkjet device do you have?
So we have the Canon department. We have screen. We actually have some Xerox equipment. We have Konica equipment.
Are you still twinkling the Xerox machines from your 35 years past, or?
Yeah, well, when we moved into the facility we're in now, we had 23 Xerox printers.
Okay, so a tiny little company on the West Coast.
Yeah, tiny company on the West Coast.
And how many people do you employ?
And now we have about 210 people, right? But now we have 2 facilities, and inkjet devices are basically a 10-to-1 on the cut sheet devices, right? So now we went full inkjet. We have a couple cut sheets hanging around that are more for micro backup, things of that nature. But that's on the print side of the house. On the front end of the house, we built most of our own like job tracking tools and things of that nature. We have a very talented development group that we work with, and the name of the game for us is automation, right? We basically have some themes there that we operate under. The act of performing the work creates the audit trail, creates the reporting. I don't like layered sort of things. When you do work, I want it to report, I want it to integrate.
I guess also when handling, let's say, transactional data, you are kind of obligated to have your things under control, right? So is that where Solimar comes in? Because we have been filming a few customers, but also talked to a lot of customers that are using Solimar too. It can be anything from optimizing PDF files to sorting data to manage the workflow and things like that. You need to be certain that let's say that your software partner is capable of handling things. Right?
100%, right? For us, we use Solimar on our e-presentment tools, right? So when PDFs come in, or we create PDFs out of our composition tools, that PDF, they're going to index it. We're going to basically present that via their soul searcher, sort of tools. At last count, I think it's like 1 billion images we have online with them on our repository for our clients for the e-presentment.
1 billion images. And these images are what? They like
statements, tax documents, property tax.
Everything that needs to be handled and securely.
Stored.
You need to have like a high level of security when because it's sensible data, right?
Very, very much so. We are constantly. Not only are we constantly being audited, right, because our clients will audit us, but we have all the other, audits that we perform, as part of the security, footprint. But that is a huge part of my life now. It's just cybersecurity and making sure that we're.
We live in uncertain times when it comes to. If people want evil, accessing data is probably one of the security threats you have to be very serious about. Right?
Very, very.
I remember one said I can't remember who, but the guy said to me that it might cost you $10,000 or $100,000 or $1 million to keep your documents safe, but it maybe cost you $10, $100, or $1,000 million if you are having a breach, right?
Oh yeah, that's a nightmare for everybody, right? So for us, we practice it. We do DR testing constantly. We're working with our insurance company. We have some security umbrellas that we also work under that we don't like to talk a lot about because we want to keep them secret. But we have our own team, then we have other teams that manage that, third-party audits, our own internal audits, all those things.
Do you also need to have, like, let's say, physical kind of barriers to your facility?
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So it's not easy to get in, basically.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we have our lobby is, we like to say, don't underestimate her, the people at our receptionists or what have you, but it's all secure. You have to be beeped in. You have to have proximity badges, least privileged access sort of rules around that process, and cameras everywhere, all those sort of things. Yeah, but you have to have a secure facility and redundant. So you have to have the generators. You have to have backup facilities. You have to not only be secure, but you have to be able to produce the work.
Downtime is not an option, right?
No.
So how long time have you worked with Solimar?
With Solimar, we've worked with Solimar for probably almost 20 years now, right? I've been on the advisory council for probably 6 years, but for many years we've worked with Solimar.
So were you actively in the collaboration? Because one thing is sitting in the advisory board, but I take that sometimes it's like IT people that needs to work with day-to-day operations. So I was just wondering how active have you been personally in it?
We have our team works with them, right? So we have our developers, or our development manager, or chief architect. If they need to reach out, they'll reach out and they'll work with them. If we're ever doing major changes, that's the one thing that's great about Solimar is their support. right? They'll work after
it good
hours with
support?
you. Oh, it's great support, right? Great team all the way around, right? And the advisory council is great. We don't use all the products that they have. We have some of our own products that, so it's a nice complementary sort of discussion.
But as long as the software can talk to each other, I mean, I think that's always the thing when you have a company. You cannot have something where you cannot interface, right? I mean, you need to have something where you always can interface with each other, right?
It needs to be integrated solutions, right? Otherwise, you can't automate unless you're talking, right? And so we have, not only on the front end, when we process the jobs, but when we utilize Solimar, there's a tight integration with that. There's a tight exception management, right? If you run any issues along the way, systems will tell us there's a problem, jobs will go on hold. The big thing is to validate everything before, especially in the digital world. Digital world, it can be like that, and you have a problem, right? So you have to validate everything prior to posting, right? So you have a lot of safeguards in place for that, right? On the print side and the mail, you have those safeguards in place, but at least you have people looking, right? In the digital space, it's fast, so you have to be extra vigilant.
So, Henry, wonderful story. It was great talking to you.
It was wonderful talking to you.
I think it's, you said to me, I think actually, again, that was before the camera turned on. We should have turned it on from the beginning, right?
It would be better, probably.
But one of the things you said to me is that Marianne from Solimar, she's good at bringing people together. I feel that I have got a little additional value to my life getting to know you,
nice.
both as a person, but also your story about the work, because it's like, I think that's the wonderful thing about our industry, that it's an ever learning curve that is, I'm just fascinated about it.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. It's been a very nice meeting you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Appreciate it.